Welcome people. This the second part of the WTP 2-inch rocket build. Today we will be delving into the real magic of making the parts and building the lower portion of the rocket. There appears there will be as many as 4 parts to this video. My goal is to keep the videos short and informative. I filmed some time lapse of the CNC router and 3D printer, and then forgot to change the camera mode back to normal and filmed an entire segment in time lapse. I was able to harvest a few still frames out of it, but basically had to redo it. Oh well, life goes on. It is a lovely day at the beach. Enjoy.
Okay, welcome people. This is the real magic behind the scenes instead of the snapping a finger and making it appear. As everybody knew that was not real from the get-go. But here's the Elegoo 3D printer printing a fin can. And the tubes that you see on the side is not part of the model. They're just a tree support that Personal Slicer adds to it, and they're really, really neat. They're easy to remove and do the job of supports, I think, extremely well. And the printers, these are the basic printer, and I've not had any problem except for the last thing I started to print on, the one I got first, which is a model older than the one that's printing here. But they're basically the same, and I had a tube where it feeds through the hot end collapse. I guess I printed one day and come back the next with it off, and it had locked onto the filament. And so I had to take it apart and get that out and replace that piece of PFE tubing. And I guess over time it just gets too soft and it collapses. So that was a minor thing. It wasn't no big deal. Just had to take it out and replace it. And these use the same hot end as the Ender. The Enders. I had Enders before, and they're really good printers, but they're not near as good as these Elegoo. The good thing about the Elegoo is two things. One is the Z-axis is a pressure sensor that detects when it gets down low enough, and that is really a lot more accurate than a switch or a plunger and all that crazy stuff that's been used over the years. So it uses a pressure transducer in the print head, and then the other really neat thing about this is their gold platter that you can see this being printed on. When it's hot, you bring it up, this is print PLA, so when you bring it up to 60 degrees, it sticks like glue. I mean, it is really hard to get off, which is just great because that's what you want. But then the other end of the deal, when it cools down, you just pick it up. Most of the time, it's not even adhered at all. Sometimes you have to give it a little bit of a twist. But no knives, no putty knives, no scraping, screaming, carrying on. I've had back to when I first started 3D printing, I've had stuff stick to the print plate so bad that you would actually destroy it trying to get it off of it. So it's just, if anybody's lived through that era of 3D printing, they know how great this gold plate is. It's magnetic. It's just magnetically attached to the hard surface underneath it. So it's very easy to remove, no clips, none of that crazy stuff. And like I say, when it gets cold, even if it's a part that's got a big surface that's kind of stuck to it a little more than normal, you just pick up one edge of it and give it a little twist because it's very flexible and it'll pop right off. I have been extremely, I can't say it enough, pleased with Elegoo's print plate. All right, well, we'll just let this thing continue for a few more minutes, and then we'll get into something different. Okay, well, here we go with the same 3D printer later printing. It's either a nose cone with that bar across the top or one of the tube joiners for the 2-inch. And again, the same thing with the Elegoo, I guess is the proper way to say that. I have trouble saying it correctly. I just call it Elegoo. Yeah, whatever. It's written right there. Elegoo. You pronounce it the way you want to. And I'll mess it up every time I try to say it. But anyway, I know what I'm talking about. And hopefully you do too. So this is just a extension of the first part. It's printing the second part. But we're not going to sit and watch all that. So we'll go on to the next thing about right along now. Okay, well, we jumped over to the 3D, the CDC router. I want to call it a 3D. It doesn't so much 3D printing. Everything starts with 3D, but it ain't 3D. Obviously, it is 3D in a way, but it's only a 1/4 inch thick 3D. So this is cutting out the fins that you've seen in the first part. And I didn't put a slot on it for the what would be the ring inside the tube because it's using the supports of the what I call a fin stub tube. It's just a tube that slips over the 2-inch and then the fin's attached to it with a couple of screws, so there's no need to lock it to the interior parts. And it eliminates cutting the slot, which is always an exciting adventure. But you know, this 3D printer is really good. I've not got any complaints about it at all. Just it does what it's supposed to do and takes care of business. Yeah, it does require a little bit of cleaning up when it's through cutting. Obviously, you got I got a dust boot to put on it, but I never have put it on there. It kind of, to me, looks like it'd be in the way of things. But so now I'm cleaning up the bed where it came from. You can see that this bed is getting close to the point of either needing to be resurfaced or replaced. And that's the back side. Use 4 tabs on it to hold the piece inside the plywood as it's being cut. And then 4, probably 3 would be good. But they're so easy to remove that we'll see that in a few minutes, the actual removing of it. Yeah, and look and see how well they're attached, because if you get one that breaks loose while it's cutting, it could jump up and cause it to get cut in the wrong place. I mean, it will jump over into the line the router is cutting and put a big gash in it, or at least make it look ugly. And so the next thing we're going to do here is, I'm going to wait on it because I don't remember what it was. Now we're over at the bench now. We're going to take these things out. And that involves cutting the little tab, the 4 tabs that held it in. So we'll let that happen, and then not a whole lot I can talk about on that. So I'm just going to let you watch it and play some more music. Okay, well, it looks like I'm trying to cut my hand off there, finger off. Then what I'm doing is just checking well, I'm not going to use that, I don't think. I might, but what I'm doing is checking getting a channel open where the tree support was up in that channel. And then try the fins, make sure that they're doing what I need them to do. And they fit down there good. We're going to put, eventually we'll put 2 screws on each side, or no more than that. And you get the Big Bertha style fins that holds it off. And this is one that's already printed. And one thing I'm doing here is checking to see if the one out of 3D printed, if it meets the profile of the ribs, fins. Airplanes got ribs, rockets got fins, but they all look alike to me. Then, so what are we going to do next? I'm over here to dry, and you can see that that's what I'm doing to the inside of the cap, is just a little fire protection for the end up here where they will get soft if they set. It's just a precaution to keep a burn through. The neighbor down here below us, she was burning trash yesterday before this rain started, and it got out from her. So they called the fire department. sent 2 trucks out here. They came through our pasture because our pasture was on fire, and got it put out before it got in the woods and before it burnt something down. The local fire department, brush fire, I guess, probably comes from about a mile away, so it's not, they get here in a hurry. It's a volunteer fire department, but still they got here pretty quick. They got here in time to stop it. Well, we had a good east wind yesterday, and it was pushing it right straight across that pasture. And that, as they say, whoever they are, is why I don't fly when the grass is dead here. I have to wait till it springs back out, which is not far away. Okay, well, I'm just going to talk about this since the stupid thing did not record it yesterday. Inside here, where the cap is, this cap is mounted inside the tube like that with a hole drilled in the center of it. And that is where the engine is pushing against to stop. Now, what I've got inside here, I think I'll take it out. I plan on flying this rocket at a club launch. And I can't use the PVC engines there, or even my 24mm engines can't be used there. So what I did was a good thing, I guess, is inside here is an adapter. Without the adapter, the full-size PVC will go right up in the engine, and I'll fly that here like that. You can see it there. But when I go to the club launch to fly this rocket, I have to have an adapter, and we got that screw thing on there, and then the regular tube that does the engine. And the reason I got a cardboard tube is in there because this is PLA, and it will stick to the engine if it gets hot enough to do that. And so then this engine with a commercial load from Aerotech goes in there. This screws down to it, and then it's fastened to the body. Right now we got to find some screw holes. Hopefully they're both lined up. There's one, I know, I see it right there. And the other one's not there, so you come down here to where this one is. Probably should put some marks on it so I know where it's at. Right there. That's that one. And that's not that one. So I got one here and one there. Well, ain't that just neat? I will add a couple of marks on how this one, since I'm going to carry it to a club launch, will actually be painted. So there's no good putting a mark on it. It would just be painted over. No ejection charge on that. It's going to be an F-35-5 with no ejection charge. The ejection will be handled by the flight computer. And I'll probably set it for drogue. Drogue's going to be set at aperture because I'm using the main chute. And that's fixed, can't be changed on the flight computer on mine. But the altitude for the main can be changed. I'll probably set it for 300 feet, 200, 300 foot. I don't want to walk all over hell's creation just to get a rocket back. I don't have to. I got some handicap mobility issues and walking on rolling turf road type ground is really hard for me. So on this bottom piece here is the 2 rail guides mounted about as far apart as they could be. This one could have been down a little lower. And then 2 screws, one screw here and one screw there to hold the fins in place. And the fins are leveled out because they use this as a mark where the bottom of them goes. So they're all the same. The fins are CNC cut, so they're all the same length. And I think we will paint this thing. So that was the assembly of it. It's screwed to the body tube here with 2 screws. Again, there's nothing pushing back in this direction. It's all going that direction. And even without the screws, this wouldn't come off. It could come off, but it won't come off. Again, the fins have a 3 to 6 degree angle on them, or angle like that. And that's going to give some good spin to the rocket as it's under power. And that adds stability to the rocket. We increased the launch rail to 10 foot this year and redid the bottom piece so that it's not, it's very stable. So let's see, I get to do a heads up test at the flying wheel club launch. I don't have to worry about 1,000 trees grabbing me, and that will be what I carry, and it may go unpainted. You'll probably get a video of it flying. This is the wee tiny Phoenix, WTP. It'll be a pretty long bugger time it gets built. You'll have this wherever it went. So without that, we ain't got the E part. And I cut these tubes on a bandsaw, mark them, and then push it through an electric bandsaw, and it seems to cut the tubes a lot better than I can cut them with a knife, because there's always going to be that little wiggle where they push hard one way and they let go on the other one. So anyway, there's a tube that goes between these two, and they'll be sitting about like that. And then nose cone, which I've added some weight in the front of it to help further keep the rocket stable, will sit right there. So you can tell it's a long, slim rocket. And this is thick wall, 2-inch cardboard tube, so it's not light. So we're through with that, and then we'll go on with the rest of it. I'll just include the photographs where the thing messed up. Okay, we're going to look at a few slides here that was covered out of the failed attempt with a time-lapse camera. That's comparing the engine to the adapter, and then showing that the adapter goes in there with a paper tube. There's the paper tube for the engine. That's the standard 24 millimeter tube, 24 millimeter engine, 24 by 60 engine, and using some glue to glue the tube in there. It wouldn't come out, but it might, so a little bit of glue just to make sure. And that's it showing out before it gets the retainer on there, the engine installed on it. And then this is going to drill in the holes to mount the adapter into the fin stub tube. So this is going to wrap up this part 2, and there will be a part 3 where I build the flight computer for the thing, and then I guess a part 4 where we finally put it all together. So thank you guys for stopping by. We'll see you next time, God willing.